Hello and welcome to Channel 2S. I'm your host, Second Soundwave, and it's time for some more Gunpla news. So we're starting off tonight with something that absolutely everybody loves, Super Fumina. Back at Shizuoka, Bandai teased the next Fumina kit in silhouette, and at the time it looked to be a star-winning Gundam-inspired kit, and yep, that's pretty much what we got. The winning Fumina is what appears to be an all-new mold follow-up to the Super Fumina, with greatly improved sculpting and proportions. The body and joints take very clear inspiration from the SH Figuarts line, and the model really benefits from this. Now, in addition to the new sculpt, this model also has some pretty cool new features too. For example, you can take all the clear parts off and then combine them into a sword, kind of like the Quanta, which looks pretty cool. And then if you take all the armor off, you're left with a very lightly clothed Fumina. I can see this model having a lot more customizing potential than the past Fuminas, since the base body does not have anything extra molded into it. But beyond that, there is one more pretty cool thing this kit can do, and that is a nice little reference to the original Star Winning. Because once you take all the armor off this kit, you can actually reassemble it into a little SD Gundam. It's a bit of a deviation from the canon design for the Winning Gundam, but it's still a really fun little gimmick to help this kit stand out. The Winning Fumina is going to be coming out this September for around 2,500 yen. Now let's carry on that theme with the China guy. The stock unpainted model stays faithful to everything we've seen of it so far, other than the missing white on the paws and the incomplete red ribbon around her waist. Out of all the mecha girls we've gotten out of Build Fighter so far, this one probably is the most normal looking one with its emotive face and realistic proportions. With the kit coming out later this month, we'll be getting 3 straight months of mecha girl models. I swear this crap's gonna outlast the anime by at least a year. So now that it's July, we have box art for most of this month's new kits. So here's the Astaroth for Nascimento, and the first thing I'm noticing here is that purple trail behind him. It looks very sci-fi and kind of futuristic, more so than what I'd expect from the IBO universe. Now, I'm not at all familiar with the manga, so I have no idea what this could be, but I'm kind of curious to know now. Also, is that a freaking Deinslef in his sword? Holy crap, that totally is. I think I like this kit just a little bit more now. So moving on, the hamma-hamma looks very alright. I don't think this is as strong as the previous RE box artwork we've gotten with kits like the Bawu or the Ifrit. With those kits, the art was so good that it was enough to sell the kits even if I didn't like them before, but this one just isn't doing that for me. It's not bad, it's just kinda average. Although it is interesting to note that this is one of the bigger style MG boxes instead of the shoebox design that most of the REs use. And that makes sense since the hamma-hamma is an absolute giant of a mobile suit. Wrapping up this run of kits is the Ifrit Schneid, and while this kit is the one I'm most looking forward to building this month, it also just happens to have the least notable box art for me. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's as cool as one would expect HGUC box art to be, it's just that there's nothing in particular I want to bring up here. It looks cool, I want one, and that's about it. So now let's take a moment to turn our attention once again to the Unicorn Gundam and its duo of upcoming model kits. Dengeki Hobby has, as usual, provided us with unpainted sample images of the RG Unicorn, and aside from the white V-fin, it looks really nice for a straight build. They've also given us a great look at the inner frame, which looks to be a very unusual one. For starters, it looks like a lot less of the frame is on this runner than you might think. The legs are not one single unit as you would expect with a real grade, instead it looks like there's only frame for the knees and feet, and then the rest is going to be built the old-fashioned way. I'm also noticing that, as I've kind of pointed out earlier, and many of us suspected, there are some little ball joints and hinge connections that are made out of clear plastic, and I cannot see those holding up very well at all. Generally, clear plastic tends to be pretty fragile, and fragile plastic plus joints plus small parts, not a good combination. So now let's jump up a few steps in the scale chart to the mega size unicorn. Just like the RG, this kit looks pretty good unpainted, and the most notable discovery that can be made here is that the kit will be retaining the Unicorn's signature fold-out beam tonfas. Basically, the mega size is going to be a pretty accurate copy of the high-grade Universal Century Unicorn Gundam Destroy Mode, just blown up to a bigger scale. With that in mind, I really don't see there being any kind of LED upgrade set for this kit showing up down the line as many people have theorized, although with how big the model is, it wouldn't be that hard to add them yourself. Now, as we move on to the P Bandai realm, tonight's featured kits will cover the full spectrum of the line. Starting at the top with a kit that really shouldn't even be here, we got some really badass action shots of the Ifrit Custom. It looks like a super cool, really dynamic looking kit, and they even show it with the Blue Destiny just to remind you how awesome these two look together. And boy do they look awesome. Less awesome, but still pretty cool, are these new images of the RE100 Bawu mass production colors. So as suspected, there's not anything new on this model unless you count the fact that you get 2 different mono-eye options. Regardless, the colors they chose for this look pretty nice, so there is some incentive to pick this one up. In progressively less interesting news, here's another Bandai kit coming down the pipeline. Bandai is still churning out the high mobility Zaku recolors like their petite guys times 10, and in October we're going to be getting the custom Zaku of Breniff Ogas, a character nobody has heard of and even less people give a shit about. At least his Zaku does break up the formula ever so slightly with caution striping around the edges of the armor and spiked knuckles on the hands. Still, it's ultimately just another Bandai Zaku recolor, so pointless and unwanted that nobody can really feel that bad if they can't afford one. Speaking of pointless, here's a comparison between the Master Grade Gym 2 on the left and the upcoming Gym 2 Unicorn version on the right. There's admittedly more going on here than I originally thought, but still, it's so subtle that this kit is a super easy pass. Continuing our downward spiral into the abyss of absolutely pointless exclusives, here's a picture of the RG Gold Frame Astray Amatsu. In case you still weren't sure exactly what this thing would look like, well, here you go. But when it comes to pointless exclusives, nothing can beat the extra finish Versal Night Gundam. It'll be a 3,200 yen Bandai SD, and there's really nothing else I can say about it. From the Ifrit Custom, to the Bawu, to the High Mobility Zaku, to the Gym 2, to the Gold Frame Amatsu, to the Versal Night Gundam, we truly have covered the full range of the premium Bandai webshop. And on that thought, tonight's Gunpla news comes to an end. Thanks for watching, leave a like if you want, subscribe for more, and as always, I'm Second Soundwave, and I'll see you next time. Take care, guys.